do it as a... So I got a request for Isn't She Lovely by Stevie Wonder, which has some really jazzy chords in the key of E, so that's kind of going to be our focus. There's going to be a couple of chord positions that I use that like really simplify it, and they're kind of movable. And just to start off with, those positions are going to be kind of what I call a movable dominant chord, where you could really put it anywhere. And it's going to, your pinky is going to be on the fifth of the chord. So let's say I wanted to do it on a C sharp here. So I put my pinky below the C sharp, and then I put my ring finger on the C sharp, and then I put my index finger as the third of the chord. So right, I've got fifth, root, third, right? So there's your beginning of the position. And then I bring my middle finger over and bar these next two strings. And you can also bar three strings. So what that is you've got fifth, root, third, and then seventh. And in this case, that's ninth. But you can move those up and down, right? So you've got a dominant chord with an added ninth if it's based on your A string. Now there is another version that I'm going to do where it's based on the D string. So I've got my pinky here on as the fifth, it's on the A string, and the root of the chord is here, that's your F sharp on the D string, and then the third of the chord, and then these two are going to create, this is going to be a sixth, which is, a compounded sixth is going to be a 13th, so this is like your F sharp 13, and then up here the note is G sharp, so that's really an 11th, so this is like an F sharp 11 13. But the 13 is being played as a sixth, but it's going to be very functional. We can also do that here if we want to do it on F sharp, but instead that's going to be with a seventh and ninth. And if we wanted to leave that E open, that would be just another seventh. So there's that position that you can move it, right? If it's based on the A string, then it's going to have a seventh and ninth. If it's based on the D string, then it's going to have an 11th and a 13th, or a 6th and an 11th. So hopefully that makes sense. But the other position is going to be this partially barred with a middle finger below it. So like this is going to be an A major over B. So for an A major, I bar the second string of the D, G, and B strings, like this, with just one finger, right? There's your A, and then I'm going to put my ring finger on the second string of the second fret of the A string to make an A over B, which resolves down to the E chord. So, like if I were to play the verse the very easiest way, the verse is C sharp minor 7, F sharp, I've seen it written as F sharp 9, I've seen it written as F sharp 13, but basically it's an F sharp dominant chord, one way or the other. And then it goes to the A over B, and then to an E. So for the easiest would be C sharp 7 triad, where you've got your pinky on the 4th fret of the A string, you've got your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, and your index finger on the 1st fret of the G string. So that's C sharp, E, G sharp, B, E. And then I can just move my hand here. That chord, that's your F sharp 7 actually. This is a cheater's version. This is the simplified cheater's version. So that's C sharp, F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, E. Then I go to that A over B and E. So what that sounds like when you play it rhythmically is... So that sounds like the song. But it's not like the official chord content, but that's like, if I were just to be wanting to strum it and sing it, that's probably how I would do it. There is also a chorus, and that chorus goes A major 7, G sharp 7, with a sharp 5th potentially, C sharp minor 7, and then back to your F sharp dominant, but it's supposed to be an F sharp 13. Or Maybe here your F sharp 11 6 that's posing as a 13. But so we've got what? A major 7. We've got G sharp 7. We've got C sharp 7, and then we can do our there. We could do it. We could do it. And then it just, the chorus ends with your A over B back to the E, and then there's the riff, which I just started learning this today, so I'm not very good at the riff. So let's say we wanted to play that with like maybe a bar chord here, second inversion, C sharp 7. So that's going to be 4th fret, bar it. Then your 3rd string up, you got your pinky there, skip a string, put your middle finger 1 fret up from the bar on your B string. You could do a C sharp 7 that way, so like, and then you put that position, that first movable position I talked about, based on your D string here, so that's, and then, so that's a second way of playing the verses. And if you wanted yet a third way of playing the verse, you could do your like C sharp 7 up here as a root position bar chord, where you've just got your pinky here on the 2nd string up, 2nd fret, right? There's your C sharp minor 7. And then you could truly very easily move to the F sharp 13. Now that incorporates that bar plus middle finger beneath it, but in this case you base your bar just across these top 3 strings, and then you put your middle finger below it on that D string, and then you put your pinky down here on what's actually the 13th fret of the A string. First inversion, F sharp 13. That chord content is A sharp, C sharp, F sharp, A sharp, and then here's your 13th way up top, which is a D sharp. So it's, so we could be like, ending the same way as all those others. I'm going to have to reposition because of this sun. Okay, so quick recap review. The verse, C sharp minor 7, F sharp dominant of some kind with as many upper decorations as you want. It could be 7th, 9th, 11th, 13th, or any combination of those. Like here's the 11th with 13th substitution, 6 being a non-compounded 13th. And then we've got our A over B, and then ends on E major. So that's our verse. We could do it here. So that was with an F sharp 7 as the 2nd chord. Here we could do it as a with the F sharp 11 13, or we could do it here with the C sharp minor 7 as a 2nd inversion bar chord. Up here, and we could even do our A over B down here, where that's a root position A major bar chord, but we remove our pinky and just move it 1 step down, 1 string down for that B. But anyways, that's all different ways that you can play the verse. The chorus, A major 7 followed by a G sharp 7, followed by your C sharp minor 7, followed by your F sharp 13. So we could probably play that, like here is where I would prefer to do the A major 7. That's here. It's like basically a triad plus your major 7. That's based on your pinky on the 12th fret of the A string, ring finger, next string up, 1 fret down, and then you bar these 2 here. So that's, and then you've got that movable shape for your G sharp 7. So again, it's this is the root of the chord. You got your pinky down here on the 5th, your index finger there on the 3rd, and then you bar across there. So you could do it like this: A major 7, G sharp 7, and then your C sharp minor 7 you could do here as a root position minor bar chord, and then you've got your F sharp 13. So that's you're barring these 3 strings on the 11th fret, and then you've got your ring finger or index or middle finger below that. Same thing we were doing down here, right? Same thing we're doing down there, but here we're shifting it up a string. We're doing it here on the 11th fret, and then I put my pinky on the 13th fret of the A string below that. Anyway, so that chorus would sound like. Isn't she lovely? And then it ends. Something like that for the riff. Hopefully this is helpful to some of you. And even outside of the context of this song, that you can take these shapes, right? You've got this where you're basically barring 4 strings using 2 fingers, and then that leaves your pinky free to do things with, and you can move that shape. You can move it up and down. You can move it up to this string, right, to get your F sharp minor 13. And then you've got that other shape, right? There's your G sharp 7. There's your F sharp 7 with a 9th and another 7. There's your F sharp 11 13. It's just it's a movable dominant, right? And it's super handy. It's a fun position. Anyways, I've already gotten a dry throat and lost my voice just by talking. But again, hopefully, once I've finished editing all the buzzing strings and bad stuff out of this, that it came out as something comprehensible.